I built this adjustable baseball tee with stuff out of my garage, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. I'm 33 years old, and I've never learned how to bat before. Here's some stuff from my garage that we can use to make a baseball tee. We got a couple of potential base materials here. We've got half of an old tire left over here from a zip line that I made in the backyard a couple years ago. Let me know if you want me to revise that project. The other thing I have here is the 7.5 pound weight that I found lying around in the garage. I think that's gonna be a really good option for us as well. So we're gonna try both of these out and see what's gonna work best for us. I also got a couple of tape options, just some electrical tape and some Gorilla tape to help us fasten some things together, as well as increase our diameter on a couple of these pieces so that we can fit these together a little bit better. I got a couple of stem options here. Most of these aren't going to be the ticket, but it's good to look at everything around just in case. Lastly here, we got some soft top options, and most of these aren't going to be the best option, but I figure we can test some things and see what's going to work best. We did decide to go with the weight option here because it's going to be a little bit better for mobility, bring you around different parts of the yard. And here I'm also just testing out some stem options. I want to see what's going to be a good diameter and what's going to work well with the materials that I have. Initially I was thinking dowel might be a good idea. However, this one is shaved down, so it's working a little too well in our favor right now. I think that this also isn't going to be the right diameter for what I want to use on this end. I think this is going to be our best option. This is an extendable pole from, I believe, an extendable broom or a painting stick. I like this because it already has this extendable feature built in. And the other thing is I didn't bring the right tools to cut through this piece, so I've got to figure out what to use to cut through that. So what I have is this Dremel bit. It's got a burr edge to it that may be able to get through the thin steel of the paint roller handle, but we'll have to see how it works. Now, I've never built anything like this, so I have Coach Bougie here helping me out. He's helping me figure out the right heights, the right sizes for being able to have this all the way contracted down for the size of a small child like my children, or having it fully extended for an adult. I did use some electrical tape to give myself a guideline here to be able to cut a straight line around that piece. It didn't end up working out, and I ended up just breaking it. Didn't end up how I wanted. That's okay, we can fix it. Right now I just need to recreate that curvature on the inside. So I just have placed that in there, and because it's such soft metal, I can mostly just roll this on there and it will get the majority of the form back that I need. So it's mostly rounded back out. So now that we have the bottom piece cut and to the right height, I've got to make sure the top section is going to be to the right height as well. Obviously right now it's too long because it's going to be hitting against the ground. So we need to make them the right length. Inside here, this is a really cool mechanism how it works. You have these really chunky threads and you've got these 3 breaks. So as you screw them together, it pushes them against the sidewall and it stops it from extending and contracting. And as you screw it the other direction, it releases those from the sidewall so that it can move again. Right here, I'm giving myself another guideline so that we can cut a straight line where we need it and have that top section the correct length as well. That's that second section of the pole, nice clean cut, and we're off to the races. And now we have a great upper and lower height for our baseball tee. We've got about 6 to 8 inches there so that you can have a child batting or an adult batting. Now we just got to find out what we're going to use for our core, or this third section, so that we can have 2 levels of extension to this. We got to make sure that we have it at the right height. Here I'm just eyeball measuring and adding some electrical tape again, showing me where my line is. There's another nice clean cut, and here we're looking at what's essentially going to be the lowest point of our tee. Now we've selected this pool noodle material as our soft top. We'll just call it like that much soft on the tip, so like nothing can interfere with a bat to a precise level. It worked out great. Perfectly for us. Just slip right on there. I think that's a start, guys and gals. I just need to round this out a little bit more. Check it out, we're using our project to make our project. Now we are using the base of our project to round out that hole a little bit more so that it fits better. Here's another option that I thought of for that soft end. No, that core is too solid in there. I wanted to double check and see if I had any other soft top material that would be better than this, just in case. That would be a better fit than the pool noodle. This is just an ancient paint roller that has lived its life. It is just crusty cardboard in there. So my grandpa's a hoarder. He really liked to buy things for his office space that he owned, and then he would forget that he bought it. I think this is a pretty common issue with hoarders. I do the same thing. I'm absolutely a hoarder, no judgment here. But he had a lot of these, these big old painting sticks, and I don't know why. They're clearly an age old. They're absolutely ancient because they're just disintegrating. This used to be cardboard in here. Here's another funny story. I'm 33 years old and I've never learned how to bat before. So that's the point of today's project. I need to learn how to bat. Do we think this is worth trying to keep going at? We don't want to damage the bat. Okay. The only other ideas that I have for tips are going to be in regards to this. Now, usually what Tanner T would typically use is a material, it's just that rubberized material, right? So it's very similar to like a shower pan material if you're trying to make one very closely related to theirs at home. This is what I had in my garage. It's just this rubber hose material. I got it at like a plumbing supply store for this length. I think it was like 75 cents or something. So I want to try to use some of this to maybe see if I can make something very similar to that. If you've ever seen those golf tees that simulate like grass, then I thought maybe simulating something like that with paracord or with some kind of surgical tubing could be interesting. So I'm gonna make up a couple of different options here, and I'm going to affix this a little bit more firmly. For now, we'll tape it up so that we can get some stability and practice with it and try a few of the T options. I think that we're gonna test our control here just to see how that works. Woohoo! Good girl. Come on. Test number 2. Now here I'm just taping up the last section of the T. I just want it to look nice. The other thing that's going to do is it's going to fit a little bit better so that it can slide and stop in the places that we want. I also just taped over the end here just to make sure that it looks a little bit nicer and that doesn't have kind of a wood color there. Ultimately that's going to be covered anyway because our soft top's going to be over the top of it, but just for my own peace of mind. This as clean of an edge as possible without actually doing any cleaning up of it. Now, last thing we need to do is affix this soft top to our final section of the baseball tee. So to keep that from sliding around all over the place while using this thing, I'm going to use this Gorilla tape and affix this right here on the top of the dowel, and it's going to work really nicely and last a long time. I'm struggling with the fact that it's not perfectly flat. This is mostly for kids use, so where we are mostly just keeping the ball in a general area and making sure it doesn't fall off, this isn't too much of a concern for me. Here's my tee versus a Tanner tee. I think I did a pretty good job. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. We've got to see if this thing actually works. Now, I've never batted before, so this is not gonna go well. Ouch, sorry you all had to see that. That was terrible. If you are a catcher and you want help with your catching stance, go check out catchingmadesimple.com/stance. Coach Bougie is awesome. He'll teach you some amazing things and it'll be great for your baseball career. So technically, when we get like this, relax your shoulders. You wanna have a little bit of waggle. Just wanna turn a little bit and then think about taking the knob and like slicing through the ball. What's the knob? The knob is this. Okay. Yeah, and so. Right. 1 second. So as you can see, this is actually really sturdy, and I don't normally teach hitting. I actually teach catching, but here's my best hitting tip. When this heel goes down, the back heel comes up, okay? Hopefully it should look like this. This is crazy because there's literally nothing underneath it. I'm shaking it a little bit and it's still standing strong. The beautiful thing about this too is he made this into a 3-piece. So this is a high tee, like this is super high. And at the same time, it's also a pretty good low tee as well, because that's about where you'll want to get to on the low pitch. You don't need to go too much further than that. For an at-home tee, it's pretty good.